Are back, ladies and gentlemen, and the NFL moves very quickly from the dead zone into lying season. It's a time where we are getting reports left and right, not all of them true, but we're going to just read through them, try and figure it out, use some common sense, and take what we can from these reports. So let's just get into it, man. This is total speculation on that one NFL channel. I'm that one NFL guy. With me, you already know we got Knipe, our very own McLovin. One word, no spaces, and man, you already know we got to kick it off somewhere. I don't even like kicking it off too. I feel like we just keep coming back to this topic. But what else are you gonna do if you want to talk about the NFL? It's the quarterbacks. The Broncos are cutting Russell Wilson and taking an $85 million dead hit. Man, I'm going to be honest here. I didn't expect them to cut him. I figured they'd find a way to trade him somewhere else, even if they had to give up a draft pick just to get a team to take some of that dead money. But they're just going to take it all on. And honestly, they're kind of just going straight into I don't want to say rebuild mode, but I mean, they cut Justin Simmons, who's still on the top of his game, trade Jerry Jeudy, who's been a trade target for like the past, I don't even know how many years. We've been talking about Jerry Jeudy getting traded forever, okay? They also get Tim Patrick re-signed on a one-year deal. Overall, over the past 5 days, the Broncos have cleared $50 million in cap space. The Russell Wilson thing is interesting because essentially, with the Broncos cutting him, Russell Wilson can sign with any team for the league minimum, and the Broncos are going to be paying that salary. So to me, this really kind of changed, like shit. It shifts who's the number one target quarterback in free agency. I feel like it puts Russell Wilson in the conversation because, listen, you can get this man for dirt cheap. You're paying him nothing, and you can bring him in and you can just put pieces around him. So Knipe, let me get your thoughts. Obviously, we already know with Justin Simmons, he's going to be one of the top targets in free agent. But let's stick with Russ Wilson for a second. What kind of impact does this release have on his trade or his free agency market?
I mean, I think we kind of saw reports of it even today. I don't know if it was first reports today, but how the Steelers are interested. So I mean, obviously, there's teams that are wanting his services, which I'm not really surprised. I feel like he still is a starter in the NFL. So. I mean, let's all be real. Like, even though we can say what we want to about Russ, I mean, it's because the first year was so like it was so memorably horrible. Like, dude, I feel like everybody knows. Like, we watched way too many primetime games that year of the Broncos, and I feel like he gets a lot of hate because like he did do actually pretty good with Sean Payton this year. Like, there was definite improvements. I mean, I'm not surprised the team wants him, and I think the Steelers get it done. I mean, I remember telling you, like, I don't think Justin Fields to the Steelers feels correct. Like, this doesn't seem like a move that they would do. This definitely seems like a move the Steelers are willing to do, and I feel like they want that veteran bridge quarterback so they can like reset on Kenny Pickett and understand that they're going to have to spend another first-round pick soon on a quarterback or trade up to get one. But I feel like the next time we see the Steelers take a franchise quarterback, it'll be they'll trade up a bunch of picks to do it. But yeah, as far as Russell Wilson, man, this dude, I think he's set on the Steelers. I think it's done. I think it's going to happen.
The Steelers make a lot of sense, but he did also meet with the Giants. It's worth noting there. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Russell Wilson obviously had the terrible first year. Wasn't a great second year, but he's definitely still an NFL starter in this league. I think the Patriots are another team that should be interested in him. I haven't seen him actually meeting with the Patriots, but I kind of feel like that also would make a lot of sense just based on how the Patriots have operated in the past with Bill Belichick. And then Jerry Jeudy. The only thing I want to ask you here is obviously he's been a trade target for like years now. With him getting traded over to the Broncos for a 5th and a 6th round pick, would you have taken that deal if you were the Broncos?
If I was the Broncos, yeah. If I was the Broncos, I don't know who the hell I wouldn't want Jerry Jeudy on my team, especially from a fan base. Like, what has this guy done, man? Like this guy, I mean, yeah, he was a first-round pick, but like outside of the resume of being a first-round pick, of like, okay, so since then, dude, he's performed like a 5th or a 6th. You know what I mean? Like feel like dude, Puka Nacua came out of the 5th, dog. Like you're a first-round wide receiver and you haven't really produced much of anything, man. Like I don't know. I think Jerry Jeudy's a little bit of a joke. I don't think that makes their offense any more potent, any more special. It'll give them maybe 4 more highlight plays on the year, maybe. and that'll be your Jerry Jeudy moments. You know what I mean? Like, cool, we got him, and then that's going to be it. So yeah, I would have taken any deal I could have if I was the Broncos. I think that's a good move.
Man, I don't know. I can't let Jerry Jeudy go for a fifth or a sixth. I'm sorry. I agree with you. I don't think he's spectacular, but I am just somebody that just does not value those picks like that. Like, you are not going to sell me a fifth and a sixth round pick for. I mean, honestly, it's all about the salary. That's why they did it, in my opinion, because he's playing on that 5th-year option of the first round contract. So he's probably making, like, I'm just guessing, but probably like 14 mil. But either way, I'm still just at one point they wanted a first round pick for this man last year. No, I'm not taking a fifth or a sixth round pick. No, you better pony up at least a third or just okay. I'm not doing that. That's just ridiculous.
Not for Jeudy, man. Like, his value is shown. It was like the longer they waited to trade him, the lower his value kept going. To me, in my opinion, it's like he never.
Well, that is true. That is true.
He never stood out, man. He never, like, dude. Cortland Sutton stood out of the two wide receivers. Like, you remember games where Cortland Sutton played well. You know, there's not that many games where it was like, oh, Jeudy popped off. Like, dog, come on. Like, he was. They're lucky they got anything. Honestly, I mean, yeah, Brown shouldn't have even got that player. I wouldn't have traded for him at all.
All right, and then, do you think, even with the reset, like, what are your thoughts on the Justin Simmons cut? Because I feel like that was just stupid. Like, what are we doing here? We're just getting rid of good players.
That to me felt like when the Dolphins got rid of that Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's the exact scenario it reminded me of. I was like, why are we getting rid of players while they're like beast moding? Like, what are you like? And they're clearly not on a decline. You know what I mean? Like, it's very puzzling. I don't know the full story behind something like that. To me, that's like that to me, that's like ultimate give up, in my opinion, because it's like, dude, that's a difference maker, dog. Like, I would love to have Justin Simmons on my damn team. Like, my team can't afford to throw him into the mix, but like, dude, like, I would, like, are you kidding me? Any team should pretty much want him. Yeah, that's kind of brutal, man. But hey, good for him, honestly. Good for Justin. I think he's going to get out of a poor situation, a rebuild, as he's been trying to avoid, but it definitely is. And yeah, I think Simmons goes to a winning team. I'm sure he finds a home somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. To me, he's going to be the number one safety target this offseason.
Oh yeah,
and getting cut before free agency is definitely a blessing, because some of these teams will end up cutting these dudes after everybody's spent all their money, and then you're screwed. So at the very least, they did do that. One last thing with the Russell Wilson that I meant to touch on, I do find it interesting. If you saw his goodbye post to Denver, my man thanked every single person he met. Every single person. If you shook Russell Wilson's hand while he was in Denver, you were included on his sincere goodbye to Denver. And listen, he did his best. Russell Wilson is somebody that you're getting his 100%. It just wasn't good enough. But he definitely tried. But I'll tell you one thing. There is a couple people that were not included in that thank you, and that is Sean Payton, George Patton, I don't know who, George something, whoever the hell George Patton, is that his name?
I think so.
Yeah, the GM and the ownership group. Those three got no thank yous from Russell Wilson. So obviously a little bit of bad blood there. But let's go ahead and move on and stick with quarterbacks here. Now, the Falcons looked like they were going to be one of the top suitors, them and the Steelers, for Justin Fields this offseason. But there have been a lot of rumors that Cousins is leaving the Vikings and he is going to Atlanta. There are rumors that he is literally looking for a house. Now, first of all, if I'm the Vikings and I find out that you are looking for a house in Atlanta already, I am calling Roger Goodell right now, because what the hell, man? What is today's date? All right, we're sitting on March 9th with reports of him to Atlanta is a lock. And listen, it's too early for that. It is not the tampering period. I want my free draft picks, Atlanta. If you're going to come over here trying to text my quarterback, I'm taking those damn picks. All right, but listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that makes a lot of sense, Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. And the only reason I say that is because, look, Bill Belichick was the only guy, the only team he spoke to was the Falcons. And he basically, the reports are that he went in there and he said, listen, we need to get all of these motherfuckers out of this building because they don't know what they're doing. And I Bill Belichick am going to run the show. And the Falcons front office, they didn't like that. So obviously Bill Belichick is not there. And the Falcons front office needs to win now because, listen, they've drafted Desmond Ridder, okay? They've signed Marcus Mariota. We traded away, or we got rid of Matt Ryan, and nothing has gone right. This team, since we made it to the Super Bowl with Dan Quinn, has just not been able to turn it around, and they just need some stability. And that's why Cousins makes sense, because regardless of what your interests are in Field and how you feel about Fields, Cousins is the most sure thing out there. I mean, you know what you're going to get, okay? Maybe it's not going to be top 5 quarterback play, but the man is going to do his damn job. So I just think that this makes a lot of sense. And it seems like the quarterback interest groups are just not aligning kind of where I thought they would. Things are just happening, like the Russell Wilson basically being able to sign up for dirt cheap and spend money elsewhere. Like, I feel like that really pushes him to close to the top. Cousins, I feel like, has to be the number 1 quarterback as far as earnings go and overall interest in the market. But it's just tough to read, man.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see, dude. I would love to know what Kyle thinks of all this. Sorry to go to my hometown team, but dude, he's just always nutted over freaking Kirk Cousins. So I mean, I'm just curious, like, his thoughts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there were reports that they didn't even look at quarterbacks that year. You guys drafted Solomon Thomas with the Patrick Mahomes year because they thought we are getting Kirk Cousins next offseason, no matter what. So yeah, wouldn't it be funny if you guys came out of nowhere, just swooped in, traded Brock Purdy, got Kirk Cousins? All right. We're getting a little too speculative here. There's no way they're going to do that, guys. Just kidding.
No, yeah, that wouldn't,
listen.
I think. Yeah, I think that he would just get added. I mean, I think it's just curious. You know, like, I wonder what Kyle thinks for real. I wouldn't want him. I think Brock. I like Brock Purdy better than Kirk Cousins personally, but yeah.
I mean, he just brought you guys to the Super Bowl. There's no way that they would do some shit like that. I was just joking.
It's just fun to bullshit.
Yeah, no, for sure. But listen, last thing with the quarterbacks, the Justin Field trade market being reported as weak. I'm going to be honest here. The only thing that makes sense in this situation is that all the teams are looking at the Bears and they're going, listen, dog, we all know you're taking Caleb Williams. We're not bailing you out. Yeah. We're not giving you a 2nd or a 3rd round pick, because what are you going to do? You're gonna hold both of them all year? You're going to have both of them on your team in training camp? No, you're not going to do that. You will cut Justin Fields before you let him and Caleb Williams show up to training camp together. So all I got to do is be willing to do more than these other guys, and we're all going to agree. We're not doing more than a 3rd round pick. I think that's what's going on here, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because, listen, there's other quarterbacks out here. Russ Wilson, I could sign him for pennies on the dollar, okay? I can get this guy and put all the rest of his money towards my receivers or my offensive line or my running backs. So I think that's really more of what's happening here. And then the Falcons obviously coming out and just coming straight for Cousins, just tampering and everything. Just, we'll find you a house here, whatever we need to do. Yeah, whatever's going on with that. I don't know. They need to look into that, though. I can tell you that much, because those reports should not be coming out.
Yeah, a little early for sure. Dude, Justin Fields, man, I mean, like, I agree that Russ becoming available makes this like a huge detriment to him. But, like, I don't know, man, he's way too good to be on the bench or like not, or just, you know what I mean? Like, he's starting next year. We know he's starting next year. He's gonna start for a fucking NFL team. Like, it's gonna happen. We just don't know who yet, and that's the best part. Is like, dude, who the heck is gonna end up with this guy? Like, I honestly, it'd be so funny to me if, like, dude, could you see Carolina? Like, just even though they just got Bryce Young, like, couldn't you see that?
I mean, what would they have to trade, though?
I know. I'm just
like funny. Their team is at, I guess, Brian Burns.
I mean, I don't know. Especially if he's disgruntled. They're that disgruntled, but like, I just think that would be funny. That's fun to speculate on. Like, if Fields actually went to the friggin' Panthers, it'd be hilarious. Honestly, though, who I end up seeing it, like, man. Who the freak is it? I'm trying to think of an AFC team that's gonna like take it. I thought the whole time it was gonna be the Falcons, but I guess maybe the Steelers. But I don't know. I think the Steelers are pretty much set on Wilson.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is They're saying that the Vikings would be a team that could be interested in Justin Fields if Cousin goes, but the complication is that then you're trading him in your division,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to play him twice a year. So if it doesn't work out, it's kind of like just straight up in your face, like, oh my God, can you? Because Bears fans actually like Justin Fields too. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, it is very, like, I feel like it's at least 50-50. Like, he's got at least 50% support. So if that happened, oh my God, dude, you would just be like, it's so risky to do that. But also what's interesting is, and this is where I feel like some of these fake reports are coming out, because like, says the Vikings could be interested in Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson. Imagine being Justin Jefferson in the middle of your contract negotiations and Kirk Cousins leaves and they bring in one of these two washed up jet quarterbacks that just did not work out. Like, dude, for the sake of the Vikings fans, I hope that is bullshit, because Jesus, you are screwed if that is the direction that you're going. You are just purposely tanking here, which is just ridiculous. But that's enough with the quarterbacks, okay? I get so tired of talking about them, but it's also like a necessity. Like, the quarterbacks have to have their own bullet points. I can't just throw all of you together because that's what everybody wants to talk about. So let's go ahead and just get to some trade rumors here. And this is really going to be your segment over here, McLovin. So, all right, I'm just gonna go through the reports that I've seen in the last week about people that are available via trade, and we're gonna start with Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Deontay Johnson. Okay, let me first ask you this, Knight. Do you think that this is just a Lion season rumor, or is there some truth to this rumor?
I mean, the Steelers, they've shown that they will, release or trade a wide receiver before. So, I could see them wanting to, because they probably perceive him as getting older, that he's getting out of his prime, which I kind of agree with. He's still a good player. But yeah, I could see them being like, hey, we need to kind of hit the reset button around here, and slowly doing it like with pieces like this is kind of how we need to. It's like Pickens is like the young future, you know what I mean? Like if they're satisfied with him, or if he said, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of weird last season what happened with him, but yeah, no, I think the wide receiver market will kind of dictate that Deontay Johnson is worthy of being on a team for sure. Like, I feel like he's going to be very sought after if they do trade him.
All right, and if you're a Steelers fan, what do you want for him? Like, let's just go draft pick compensation, since that's always how it happens. What round do you need?
Oh man, for Deontay Johnson, like at minimum a second. Like, I'm sorry, like, he maybe not worth the first. You can talk me out of it first, because he's a reliable piece, man. Like, he's not like a Jerry Jeudy, you know what I mean? Like, he's actually got some value and some worth, and he's declining, but he's not done. The only thing that makes me honestly nervous about him is his injury risks. I feel like the guy gets hurt more frequently than other wide receivers. Maybe just, I don't know, size, luck. I don't know what his problem is there, but yeah, I'd say I would want a second, almost 100%.
All right, and then a big one. The Chargers, it says, are open to trading multiple vets, but two that it mentions, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Is that Lion season talk, or is there some truth to that?
No, I think there's truth to that, and I think that they're more likely to get cut at this point, just because,
cut.
Yeah, just like with Justin Fields, like, they're gonna be like, dude, like, you can't pay everybody. Like, you're gonna have to cut at least one of them. So, like, I'll just wait for you to drop some of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll wait for you to drop a Khalil Mack or you know what I mean. Like, if you really want one as a GM right now, you go get one, sure, but you don't give up a bunch for it, because obviously the leverage is on your side, like the shoppers. And yeah, I just think that like one of them is going to get dropped. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bosa. I think they would really keep Mack, because Mack is probably a better locker room guy. But I can see Bosa Bosa hasn't looked good, dude. Just being honest with you, like, Mack has at least looked good. Bosa to me has not looked correct on the field, and he just keeps getting hurt. Like, I would rather drop Bosa off my roster than Khalil Mack. So I think they might do that, and then let whoever wants to go get him go get him.
I am really surprised to hear you say that. I feel the exact opposite way, to be honest with you. I just have to admit, like, look, Joey Bosa, I understand he's had his injuries, but Joey Bosa is 28 years old. Khalil Mack's like 35. And if I'm the Chargers, first of all, I'm not cutting either of them. I don't give a shit, okay? Khalil Mack had, like, I'm about to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was like 17 sacks last year.
Yeah,
You
at what
mentioned
age
like
exactly?
17 sacks. So I'm definitely not cutting him. And same with Joey Bosa. I mean, I know he's on a big deal, but that bloodline, he can give me 12 sacks next year. And pass rush is so thin in this league. Everybody is outside of the quarterback. Pass rush is the hardest consistent position to get on your team. So I think that there's no way that they're releasing either of those dudes. And honestly, maybe they would trade one. I don't think they'd trade both, because if you trade both or get rid of both, I mean, you have nobody for your pass rush. You're just going to start over. Like that's tough. That's tough to do.
I think they dropped one. I think they dropped Bosa.
All right.
And we're going to find out in like 2 weeks, and you're going to be wrong.
We'll see. I mean, maybe I am. You're right. You're right with the injuries with him, but I think pass rush is so thin in this league that they'll take the risk on him. And then another couple of pass rushers that are said to be available via trade: Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. Because I've kind of seen back and forth with this. We know they'll be available, but what would you want if you were an Eagles fan for those two?
I would want my fucking GM to figure out how to keep them is what I'd want. Yeah, those are awesome players, man. So,
what round would you need to get?
Huh?
Trade them. What round pick do you need to get if they do trade them?
Reddick is 100% first rounder. Like you ain't touching Reddick without a first. You could talk me into a Sweat being like a third and fourth, or like just a second, or like, something along those lines. I wouldn't want like a bunch of day threes. I would want something at least in the third. If not, like maybe like if I got a third, I would want a fourth though also. So if that makes sense. Like, and then
yeah, I got you.
But Reddick, I would need a first, man. Reddick is too special. He's a difference maker.
I agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment. And then last one that we know is available, L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
So obviously with the tag and trade, it makes it a little more complicated because you also have to give him that big deal, and you're paying all of it. So as a Chiefs fan, what do you need to get to let him go without complaining?
They're going to say a first, which might be warranted at this point. After an all-pro year, you kind of have to pony up. You know what I mean? Like, just like what you said about with his contract and stuff. I think a few episodes ago, it's like you're going to have to pay this man. You know what I mean? Like, you don't put on that kind of performance and be locked down and then not get paid as a lockdown guy. So yeah, it's going to be a first plus money. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to cost a lot. L'Jarius Sneed will cost a lot because that's just what those guys cost. Whenever, like, it was just like when what the heck was that guy from New England? He went to the Titans. Like, he costs a lot even for them. What the heck? He had that Super Bowl.
Logan Ryan?
No, the Super Bowl interception. That kid.
Oh, Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, that one. When he went to the Titans, like, he cost a lot to go there. So yeah, that's the kind of deal I see going on.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move past those. Those are all the trade rumors. Oh yes, no, actually, one more. Okay. Mac Jones. Is Mac Jones really available, or is it Lion season?
Yeah, this is about as dumb as not nearly as dumb, I should say, but like, it's basically as dumb as the Zach Wilson's available for trade type shit. Like, dude, get out of my face with that. Like, nope. Like, really, what are we trying to downgrade? Are we trying to tank? Like, who wants the seventh or tank for a seventh? Like, Jesus, dude, what are we doing? Who's desiring Mac Jones on their squad after what you've seen? Like, not a damn soul. Like, yeah, let's move on. Let's be real. He's going to be lucky to be on a roster.
All right, so it's fair to say that if you're a Patriots fan, you're literally happy if you can even get a draft pick for this guy.
Yeah, dude, if you got a seventh, they'd probably be like ecstatic because they know they're getting a new quarterback. They know that's happening.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, I just want to roll through some re-signs and some cuts. There's been a lot that have happened. I'm probably going to miss some here, but whatever. Let's just go for it. All right, Mike Evans re-signs in Tampa, 2 years, $52 million. I'm going to be honest with you. This one frustrated me because it complicates the Calvin Ridley situation for the Jags, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Dalton Schultz, also another one that just really ticked me off, okay, because the Texans re-signed him for 3 years, $36 million, 23.5 of that guaranteed. I'm only annoyed because he's doing so good with the Texans, and him and Stroud clearly have a very good connection. It was really annoying to watch all year, and I think that was a great re-sign for them. really annoyed he didn't hit the open market because there was other teams that were definitely going to be interested, and I was really hoping they'd lose him, but does not. Brandon Graham of the Eagles signs another 1-year extension with the team. This is year 15 for my man on the Eagles. Talk about a legend, bro. Like, that is so rare. Good for him. Good for the Eagles. And the Eagles are really good about keeping their people, man. They got him, Fletcher Cox. They keep their guys when they're Kelsey, who we'll also talk about, obviously, with the retirement. And then one that I want to touch on also, so wrong on this one. Jonnu Smith signs a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Dolphins. This is after being cut by the Falcons. Any person that was cut can re-sign now, but Jonnu Smith, obviously, Arthur Smith has got to be kicking himself right now. He is freaking pissed, okay? Mike Tomlin didn't let him get him because obviously they got Patty Cakes Freermouth over there who had a little bit of an injury-plagued season, but he's a great tight end for them as far as talent goes. And then they also drafted buddy from Georgia. I'm blanking on his name, but he's supposed to be a really good blocker for coming out of college. Really don't know what he did last year, to be honest with you, but they do kind of got a full spot at tight end. But I really still kind of thought Johnny would end up over there. I mean, listen, for 2 years, $10 million with Arthur Smith, that's a steal. My man would have been 800 yards, 10 touchdowns, easy with Arthur Smith. Easy, okay? I think that was a real mistake on Johnny's part. He should have immediately reached out to Arthur Smith to see what he was doing. Listen, the Rams keep who was supposed to be the best interior offensive lineman. They lock him up. Kevin Dotson, 3 years, $48 million. He really broke out this year for them. The Rams, obviously, they've got a lot of young talent, man, for a team that was just paying for a ton of vets, and then they had to really reset themselves financially, getting rid of a lot of those stars. But they have a homegrown star in Kevin Dotson, and they keep him with that 3 year, $48 million. The Bears initially tagged Jalen Johnson, end up getting him re-signed to 4-year, $76 million deal. That one's interesting to me because at one point they talked about trading him. They were working on his trade request at the deadline, but nobody met the Bears' asking price. And eventually the Bears meet Jalen Johnson's asking price. Also, Tyler Lockett wasn't even scheduled to be a free agent, I'm pretty sure, because nobody was talking about him. But he gets a 2-year, $30 million extension with the Seattle Seahawks. So they're keeping another homegrown star, and he's getting up there, but he's still producing for them. The Patriots have an interesting move here. They put the transition tag on Kyle Duggar instead of the franchise tag, which essentially gives them the opportunity to match any team's offer for him. Otherwise, he plays on the $13.8 million tag instead of a $17 million tag that he would have been playing on. The Patriots also re-signed Hunter Henry to either 3 year $30 million or 3 year $27 million. I couldn't really figure out which one of those. The Bucks tag Anton Winfield. Also, the Ravens initially tag Justin Matabuke, I believe is how you pronounce his name. But then he ends up signing a 4-year, $98 million deal. He had a great year this year, but this was kind of his first year breakout. I was kind of surprised they didn't make him play on the tag and do it again. But, I mean, when you're getting that kind of pass rush from the interior, that is very rare. And this deal is good news for Chris Jones and also Christian Wilkins, who Chris Jones is expected to hit free agency, but which because of Snead being tagged. But Christian Wilkins, I mean, my man is a first-round draft pick, was a captain for this Miami Dolphins defense or Miami Dolphins team. He also plays fullback for them sometimes. He is a freaking star over there in Miami. I honestly feel like Chris Greer owes the fans of Miami an explanation, okay? You cut Xavier Howard, which also he's a really good player, still at the top of his game. But at least you have Jalen Ramsey. So if I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, I can kind of live with that. But you just letting Christian Wilkins walk, I mean, I guess this is what I'm assuming. They're not going to do anything in free agency because they don't really have any money. And they are banking on the comp pick that they're going to get for Christian Wilkins, which will be like a 3rd-round pick. But they won't get that till next year. They probably could have got a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft if they would have just traded him. But they end up not doing that. But whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping the Jags will reach out to this man, but they probably won't. But Christian Wilkins, Chris Jones, they are both going to get hefty paydays, especially after that Justin Matabuke contract. Saints release Marcus May with one of their starting safeties there. They also re-signed the Honey Badger to a 2-year, like $13 million deal. I believe that one was mostly just to lower his cap number because, the Saints live over the cap. So they're every year working to get under it. So these are the kind of moves that they have to make. And then the Seahawks releasing my guy, the guy that you already know I've been so tired of hearing about, Jamal Adams. All right. I'm really interested to see what his market is going to be in free agency because I have a feeling it ain't going to be shit, dude. And you think about what the Seahawks gave up to get him, and it's just nuts that here we are and they're cutting him after signing him that huge deal off of one good year with them where he basically showed you all of the traits of a linebacker, a blitzing linebacker versus somebody that can actually cover people. Just nuts. And then Quandre Diggs also, he's somebody that I feel like is still kind of at the top of his game, but he got cut. Will Dissly, the Seahawks saved $23.5 million. I don't even think they were one of the teams that were really that far over the cap, but they're making some moves there. And then the team that was the biggest over the cap, the team that is taking the biggest hits on that salary cap. When people say the salary cap isn't real, look at this right here, okay? The Bills releasing Tre'Davious White, Mitch Morse, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde. Not to mention Micah Hyde is already a free agent. So you lost 3 of your 4 starting defensive backs. I mean, that's nuts. And then luckily, Von Miller, they had him on a huge deal. Von Miller nicely took a pay cut. They called it a restructure, but I mean, I'm sorry, you go from making $20 million a year to $8 million a year. That is a pay cut, my friend. That is a pay cut. So listen, Bills are going downhill right here. They're going to have to kind of do that Chiefs reset where they get a bunch of, and they hit on a bunch of picks like the Chiefs did. I hope it doesn't happen, but I do think that is a huge hit for them. Panthers also making a little bit of moves here. They already released Hayden Hurst. They're expected to release or trade their cornerback Dante Johnson. And then the Panthers tagged Brian Burns, informed him, we're done talking contract with you, buddy. You're playing on this freaking tag or we're going to trade you. They haven't really ruled anything out there. Steelers cut Patrick Peterson and Allen Robinson. That's just to get some cap space, and I'm assuming they're going to make some kind of move after they get another quarterback, most likely Russ, but we're not really – we're going to have to wait and see there. Eagles also released Kevin Byard. It is a deep safety free agency class when you really think about it. There's a lot of free agents available, at that position. Commanders also released Logan Thomas, Nick Gates, and Charlie Leno. $90 million cap space for them. And they also signed Zach Ertz to a 1-year deal already because he was I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with Zach Ertz. I'm actually surprised he could sign that deal because technically he signed with the Lions for that one playoff game that they lost. I don't know if you remember that, but he did. So I was kind of surprised to see that he was able to sign, but I guess maybe it didn't count because it was just the playoffs. Not really sure there. Patriots cut J.C. Jackson, who they just got back from the Chargers. That saved them $14 million. No dead money. The Patriots have $106 million in cap space right now. I expect them to be big spenders this free agency. Patriots also reportedly interested in Joe Flacco. I think that makes a lot of sense for them. I do. I really do. I mean, look, the guy balled, man. I mean, you got to give it to him. He deserves an NFL spot, whether it's a backup or starter. He deserves it. And if they wanted to go the route of drafting a rookie, but also having a veteran, I think Joe Flacco makes a lot of sense for that kind of situation. That's it for the re-signs and cuts. That's it. Tried to go through that pretty quickly, but it was a lot. But there's one last group of cuts and signs that I just had to put separate. And listen, I feel like we've been doing this show and I really haven't been talking about my Jags. I've been kind of being silent. We all know what happened with the meltdown this year. It was really upsetting. I really was hopeful that, we'd get some things figured out this off season. And I wanted to do my own Jaguar show, but I've just been busy with doing other things. And it's just time. Okay. There's just some things on my chest and I just need to get them off. Okay. And so I am going to put this tag up here. What is Trent Baalke's problem? But I really mean, what is him and Doug Peterson's problem? Okay. Because I truly feel like this is a collaborative fuck up. I don't think it's just Trent Baalke. I think they're both fucking this shit up, okay? Because let me tell you, all right, some moves that we've made, okay, and some of them I agree with. We release Foley Fatukasi. That makes a ton of sense. We don't save really any cap space. We took a dead hit. We saved like 3.5 mil. This guy, we were paying him $10 million a year. Complete waste of money. Complete whiff in free agency there. But sometimes you got to right the wrong. I agree with that. Rayshon Jenkins, we release him. Okay, that makes sense. He's coming out. He had one good year for us, which was last year. I felt like that was like a career year for him, but he really kind of fell off, in my opinion, especially in the tackling department. My man was missing tackles this year. And he's never really been that great in coverage. He's been average at best. I agreed with it. We could save I think it was $5 million. And the main reason is because we have an in-house replacement in Antonio Johnson, somebody that at one point in the draft was projected to be a first-round pick in mocks. We ended up getting him in the 5th round, and he produced really well at the role we gave him. We gave him a nickel role. Down the line, he produced really well. So that's an in-house replacement where you can save cap space, and we can go out, we can get some other guys to improve this team. They also released Darius Williams, who had a career year, wasn't really a huge cap hit this year, was only like $10 million. I don't agree with that one, but I actually can't kill them for it because we did get a new defensive coordinator in Ryan Nielsen, most people think he likes playing man. He says that it's a zone scheme with man concepts. I don't know. I'm not going to get all that into the weeds. As long as they could get another corner at a good price and replace him, I would have been okay with it. So I was kind of trying to be judge free on that one and let's see what we do with the money kind of thing, because there are some corners out there like Xavier Howard. We could get lucky and he might end up not costing some. And there's some bargain corners you could get. I'm blanking on his name. Guy from Detroit plays safety, but he can also play nickel. So because we really have a hole at nickel too. But listen, the part that really bothers me, okay, this offensive line for the Jaguars last year was absolute dog shit. I'm talking awful, man, unbearable. If you pointed to one thing, Trevor Lawrence didn't have a great year last year, okay? I've been vocal about it. Trevor Lawrence did not have a great year. He had moments where he was good, but once he started hitting those injury bugs, he really did not. He really played very poorly. But the reason for those injury bugs is he kept getting hit, and that line was not doing him any favors. They were not blocking well at all. And the thing is, we had good investments in the line. That's the annoying part, okay? Fortner's a 3rd-round pick. He's been the worst center in the league since he's come into the league. Sheriff, we spent a ton of money on him. He was really good for us last year. I felt like he was very weak in the line this year. Our best player was a rookie, Anton Harrison, who I feel really good about. We drafted him in the 1st round. That's the one thing you can give Trent Baalke credit for, is drafting him. But on that left side, man, there was a rotating cliff of people going in and out of there between Walker Little, Cam Robinson. We trade for Ezra Cleveland. Walker Little played guard at one point. Tyler Shatley was in there. So we had a mix in there. But the way that they have made excuses for that offensive line about how we didn't have the same 5 people, first of all, bullshit, okay? Because the whole right side was the same the whole time, okay? You had Fortner in there the whole time. You had Sheriff in there the whole time. You had Anton in there the whole time. So it's only the left side. And when Walker Little was playing left tackle, he was playing all right, okay? At one point, people were talking about him being the best player on the offensive line early in the season. And then we moved him to guard, and then he really struggled. He was awful at guard. My man cannot play guard. He cannot play right tackle. He can only play left tackle. That is the only spot that he can really do. It looks like they're going to use him as a swing tackle again this year. I just don't know how they don't make any changes, because they end up re-signing Cleveland to 3 years, $28.5 million. He did not play well for us when he was in, okay? Once we traded for him, which we only gave up a 6th-round pick, so it's not like if you walk, you lost all that much. It's a 6th-round pick. I just feel like they should have got other guys, man. They should have mixed up this line. At this point, the only person that they're looking at replacing is the center, who, listen, you should replace that guy. But you're telling me that one person was the only problem? And Cam Robinson, look, I also, if somebody asked me who was the best, the most impactful, I'll say it, not the best, because I feel like Anton is the best, but Cam is impactful because Cam is nasty. He's going to get in your face. He's going to be sarcastic. You remember that clip of him with San Francisco where they don't know what he's doing. He's like, nah, we don't know what we're doing. He's just vocal. I like that in my players. So listen, I like Cam as a player, but he's got like a $16 million cap hit. We had an in-house replacement with Walker Little. You could have insured the interior of that line and got somebody else to play guard instead of Ezra Cleveland or Sheriff, who also could have been cut. I just feel like replacing one position on that offensive line sounds ridiculous to me. And it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, and then on top of that, Doug Peterson in the interview where they asked him about Fortner and he says, well, you know, the media and the fans really got to him. Like I'm supposed to feel bad because Fortner is upset that the media and the fans aren't happy with him. My man's sad. That's the excuse we're going to roll with. He wasn't himself. Get the fuck out of here, bro. This is the NFL. Nobody wants to hear those sorry-ass excuses. I'm sorry. I don't care, okay? Figure it the fuck out. Or tell them to replace your ass because, Jesus, I can't tell you how many Twitter clips I saw of this. There's no scheme. Like, I'm not an offensive line genius, but there is no scheme that makes sense for you to get completely blown up and thrown on your ass. Okay, there's no play where that's the plan. So there is no way you're going to tell me that this man is a starting center. Okay, and I feel the same way about Ezra Cleveland. Like there was so many plays where you saw that where he got blew up. Now there's like a couple of plays where they show him blow a couple people up, and yeah, did he have a couple of moments? Yes, but there was like games where he had like 9 pressures in the game. Okay, I understand he's a midseason trade, but listen, you're the interior of the offensive line. Pass rush seems like it should be real simple. Don't let the guy in front of you get behind you. And I'm just not – I feel like it is so stupid to expect me to be okay with you rolling out 4 out of the same 5 starters that didn't work last year, man. And on top of that, we're talking about the Calvin Ridley thing. Okay, look, we already talked about you already know how I feel about Josh Allen not getting a contract. He playing on the tag. At this point, the tag's already used. We can't use it on Calvin Ridley, okay? If you would have signed Josh Allen, we could have used the tag on Calvin Ridley. Now Mike Evans is gone, and guess who's the top wide receiver target? Fucking Calvin Ridley. He's going to get overpaid like a motherfucker, dude. Okay, I would rather overpay Josh Allen and just take Calvin Ridley on the tag. Don't get me wrong. If Mike Evans was a free agent, it was reported that the Jaguars were also kind of interested in him. I would have definitely rather taken Mike Evans. But when he's gone, that immediately makes me have to get this Josh Allen deal done. And I tell you what, if midway through the summer his deal gets done, that's going to be so annoying to me because why didn't we just do this now? And then we could have used the tag on Ridley. And there's not another guy that you're really going to get that's going to be better than Ridley out there. So listen, I wish I could be positive about the Jaguars. I wish I could. I fucking wish I could, man. But I just can't. Like, that's not going to work, man. And we don't really even have that much cap space. I don't know what they're going to do here. It makes no sense to me. The moves that they made, I just feel like they were just stupid. So I had to get that off my chest. I feel better. I already feel better. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, we got a little bit of money. They better make some kind of fucking move because rolling out the way that this roster and this depth chart is looking, there is just so many freaking holes. And the best moves that they made, man, in my opinion, is like little moves, like re-signing Daniel Thomas. Like, I don't know if you remember, but we were watching the Ravens game together, the Sunday Night Football game with the Jaguars, and he made a couple of really good special teams tackles. And I was like, man, that is really fucking awesome. And you're like, that is awesome. That's Daniel Thomas. So he is a special teams standout. Not a huge like defensive player for us, but I mean, the way that he covers those punts, it wasn't a huge deal. But those were the good moves. But all these big moves and what they're doing, it just doesn't make any sense to me, man. The reports that are coming out of the building, just not good. Just not good. But I feel a lot better. Speaking of centers, Jason Kelce, man, retires. Okay, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're talking he might have been the greatest center of all time. I don't even know. I don't pay that much attention to the center, so I don't even know. But he's a great player. I will say, though, I felt like they made a way too big of a deal out of his retirement because it was aired straight on NFL Network, and it was seriously like.
What do you mean? It's because he's relevant on social media. That's why it was done. It's because of money. What do you mean? Come on now.
I mean, yeah, that's the reason, but I still feel like I don't remember Peyton Manning have a live aired retirement speech that went for like 35 minutes or something. It was long as shit, man. But congratulations to him. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm just saying, like I just didn't understand why it was that big of a deal. Like, damn.
I think so.
People retire all the time. Shit.
I know. I think it's just because of the popularity of his family right now. That's why.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to believe this, but 16 people are watching us right now.
Oh my God.
I've been just talking, and I looked up, and I was like, "Damn, this is actually way more than I would expect." But the boys are on here, so hey, hello, fellas. I didn't notice y'all commenting in here. It's good to see y'all in the building, man. Just talking ball, just chilling. But that's pretty much it. Just a couple of other things. We got to mention Xavier Worthy made himself some money this combine, broke John Ross's 40-yard dash time with the new record 4.21 40-yard dash, which is literally 0.01 faster than John Ross. So congratulations to him. He's earned himself probably an extra $1 million or so a year with that 40-yard dash run. Nick Sorensen named the 49ers defensive coordinator. Congratulations to you. That guy was a former Jaguar, and he was very popular within the media for some reason. I don't really know why, but he wasn't really even a starter for us, but good for you guys. Also, Brandon Staley, assistant head coach over there. So, listen, I don't know about that one.
No, yeah, that one doesn't feel very good, but just get out of Kyle's way, bud. Why don't you just put on a little chair on the sideline there and sip your tea, because men have to work. I don't like Staley, dude. I don't like his demeanor bugs me, dude. Like, he just seems like a weakling. I don't like him. I'm really mad that he's on my team, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like Kyle did it just so he could have someone to bitch at. Honestly, like, why isn't this fucking working on the defense, dude? What's your problem?
So we were about to get out of here, but we have some breaking news, everyone. Chris Jones is now off the market. A blockbuster deal has been done to keep him in Kansas City. It'll make him the NFL's highest paid defensive tackle at around $32 million per year. The first 95 million or so are essentially guaranteed, and those final numbers are still being worked out per Ian Rappaport. So it's official, baby. That is a huge number, but it makes sense after seeing Justin Matabuke's number. I mean, what are you going to do, man? You're really going to – Christian, look at what I really feel like he single-handedly won the Chiefs the Super Bowl. I know the offense did their thing and everything, but there are like specific plays where it's like Chris Jones literally stopped the touchdown, or Chris Jones literally ended that entire play.
He created chaos for sure. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there is literally no number that you could tell me he got paid, and I'd say that's too much. You could say he got paid $50 million a year, and I'd say, I understand. Where are you going to find a guy like that? So, listen, I feel like that's a good note to end on. Do you have anything else for the people or our friends? Can't believe this. 18 people. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's so cool. Cool to have you around.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I'm good for the night. We got a lot of news. At least we got to talk about something. I feel like the previous episode was just like, we like football.
I mean, that'll happen sometimes, in this NFL world. And it's so funny how quickly that can shift like that, because I felt like we needed to get an episode out because it just kept stacking up. And I was like, oh, my God, this is just so much. But listen, our next episode, free agency is going to be popping, and it's going to be flowing for the next, I want to say until the end of this month. It's probably going to be pretty popping for the NFL. And then we'll move into draft season where we're not really going to know that many people, but we'll figure it out as we go. So listen, thank you everyone for watching. This is Total Speculation. We are that one NFL channel. I am that one NFL guy, and Knipe is our very own McLovin. So thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. We're out of here. Peace.